Welcome to Short Scale Modelling. This is part 3 of Revell's Star Trek Kazon fighter. Scale is 1 to 458. In this part, I'm going to be carrying on with the build, as in putting more items onto the hull, sanding down some seam lines, and hopefully getting onto a bit of the painting, depending time permitting, of course. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. So as I said, sanding down some of these seam lines, and this is the first job. Now, surprisingly, the seam lines weren't so bad on this, even though I had trouble putting in that rear piece in part 2. The lines themselves were only slightly raised. The only main concern really was because of the nature of the shape of the ship. The areas sometimes were very small to sand down, so I had to use one of the thinner sanding sticks. But as you can see there, they came down quite well. Next to go on was this top piece. This fitted reasonably well. After the panels from the inside, I was a bit worried this was going to need filler as well. But as I said, it fitted quite snugly into the area. Next to be made up are, well, I'm going to call them stabilizers. I'm not exactly sure what they are, but the end part, just where I'm placing the cement, that's for the engines area. The assembly itself was fairly standard and straightforward, but the plastic is very thick, so you may need a lot more cement than normal to get these bonded. The next subassembly is for the front of the ship. Now this comes in two parts. You have the main body, which I'm assembling here, which I left to dry for quite a good while before assembling the central part. And that just goes in right in between the two fins here. The bottom part you see there is the actual contact points for attaching to the main hull. So you want to make sure that that's nice and lined up. And then, as you can see, I've gone on to the next stage, and this is the front stabilizers. And there's two little panels that get placed on there. The location points are clearly marked out, and it's a standard fit. So now I'm going on to a little bit of painting, and I'm using Humbrol's RC420 orange lining. Or the RC is the railway colour range from Humbrol. It's a sort of light burnt orange, and around it I painted using the paint mate. So just to recap, that's Humbrol 171 antique bronze, 12 copper and 70 brick red, all around 33% ratio. I wasn't actually sure whether I'd be able to get into this to paint this after the model was assembled, so that's why I'm painting them now. And it's the same colour for the panels at the edge here. I also decided to start painting the stand at this point, and for that I'm using Humbrol 163 dark green. And I'm just using this as the base colours, particularly for the stem of the stand. The next parts to make up, there's two of these in this set. There's this main body part and the smaller panel. Now, these go on the front of the ship at the side, some sort of ornament, I would assume. The two prongs that you see sticking out, those are your actual contact points that are going to be going onto the ship. And as you can see, the panel sticks out and leaves this gap. It's meant to do that, but it was quite a tricky fit. Just for the contact points itself weren't huge, so it took a little bit of lining up to get into the correct position. Now it's time to fit the main stabilizers, and these go at the bottom of the ship where that big massive gap was, and that's the housing for these. The instructions weren't exactly clear how these go. It took a bit of figuring out, but if you can see the fin panel, it sort of goes in between this main unit and rests inside while you try and line up the end part to the ship. There is a stepped location point for it to fit into, I suppose, to try and make it easier for you, but it is quite a difficult fit, and I had to hold this for some time before it's set. So if we just twist it around, you can see the gap there. That's where the other one's going to go. And of course, these go at an angle as well. So it was a very awkward part to fit. I did try clamping it in position, but because of the nature of the shape, that wasn't really possible. And it was the same for the other side as well. Again, a difficult fit. There is gaps as well on this. The fit is not brilliant. Once they were on, thought there was a little fin that goes at the bottom. As you can see, the location point is nice and defined, and that was easy enough to place in. And once that was dry, it was time to place the front piece on. As you can see, there's a massive housing to receive this piece. The fit on this part was okay. Again, it's just an awkward shape. The next was the smaller parts of the stabilizers. Now, again, with the instructions, they're not exactly clear how these should go. There is arrows written on the instructions to try to explain how they are, but without better illustrations in the instructions, it's not 100% clear. It took quite a while to figure out how to put these. They're similar to the bottom ones, where they get inserted into part of the panel, and the other part gets inserted on top of the panel. So it looks strange when you're first trying to fit them, but it does hold quite well, I suppose, because of it. But the lining up issues on these particular parts were very difficult. So what I'm doing there is I'm just marking off with the dry fit to show where I'm going to be putting the cement, and obviously I'm just taking off some of the primer so this cement bonds. The rear V shape to this, I wasn't sure whether it was meant to fit underneath the stabilizer part or right at the edge. After looking at some photos, I realised it was right at the edge, lining up with the recessed panel area that's already been painted. As I said, it took a while to sort out, and again, there's many gaps. As you can see, there's huge gaps all over the ship. So it's back to the stand, and I'm using Humbrol RC418 EWS red. There's sort of little raised panels on this stem that I'm just highlighting. It's not really necessary. I just wanted just a little bit of different colour on the stand. Next to go on are a couple of side panels for the front of the ship. Again, awkward fitting, but there is big location points on this to help with the placing of these parts. And again, because the plastic is quite thick, it will take a long time to bond. It is awkward though. I mean, where my thumb is, there's a little pin that the part sits on, and it always wants to just press itself out and come off the pin. So if you are doing this kit, you may want to do it in stages, as in cement the main front area first, then prise it onto the pin. And this is where I'll finish part 3. This will take a little bit of time to dry, so it's a good place to stop. If you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other builds? I'm sure there's something there that you may enjoy having a look at. Subscribe to the channel, and if you do so, please do so. Make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you'll be kept up to date not only with this build, but all my future builds as well, of course. Hit the like button. Don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.